The Newsround on Off the Ball.
With Gillette Labs. Get the ultimate shave or your money back. Neon Night Edition available now.
This is News Talk.
Now you're very welcome along. Tuesdays Off the Ball coming at you. Great to have you with us. So the football show this evening will include Pat Nevin and Karen Duggan. Pat will be talking about the weekend's Premier League just gone, and of course Champions League, which is now very much upon us. Karen with her thoughts on Ireland's performance stateside. They are in action once again in a few hours' time, 12:30 Wednesday morning. A slight tangent, the segment taking sports radio by storm is what they're saying. Both inessential and compelling all at once. Myself, Michael McCarthy, Arthur O'Dea, Will O'Callaghan, riffing on various things this evening. Masters, Rory, GA as a spectacle, Celtic support or lack thereof these days. Lots of emails in this week. And then this hour, GA Championship opening weekend. We do complain when there aren't competitive games at this time of year, so let's at least enjoy the fact we did have some vibrant contests. Colin Boyle, like most Mayo people, scratching his head. He'll be doing that at 7:30. 53106, the text number. We are at Off the Ball on Twitter. Michael McCarthy here for the news round, as well as a slight tangent. Hello.
Good evening.
Anne-Marie Donelan, welcome back from Anfield.
Hi, Joe. Yeah. Oh my God, what a game.
What a game.
Yeah, I was only saying to Mick outside, I don't think I ever remember a game leaving so physically exhausted. I was so drained from it because it had absolutely everything except a winner, obviously. Obviously Arsenal's brilliant start and their sheer class in the first half an hour, and Liverpool's passiveness. They just looked so easy to play against, particularly the Jesus goal. Arsenal just absolutely tore them, stretched them, and then you got a sense at 2-0, the majority of the Anfield crowd were thinking, oh God, this is going to be a rout. And it was kind of a sense of like, just there because they had to be almost. And then, like, it was strange to go to Anfield at this time of the season without something on the line. That was really weird. And then that first half hour just compounded that even more so. And then, like a switch, it was insane. Never seen anything like the turn in terms of how the crowd got up for it once Xhaka and Trent Alexander-Arnold kind of had their handbags right in front of the Kop. And then the game just took on a life of its own. The intensity just shifted completely over to Liverpool, and Arsenal were completely bossing the football up to that 40th minute, and then once the crowd got into it, it was just a completely different story. And then obviously Salah to equalise and then to miss, and his second penalty in a row to miss. It was just so dramatic. And then obviously Firmino of all men to come on and get the equaliser, and then Ramsdale to have the biggest 10 minutes of his life.
Exhausted,
It was just mad. Like, it was just so insane. And yeah, it was really good. Like, it was a really good game. I did get the sense, though, coming away from it, that Arsenal won't win the title. Yeah, I just felt in that second half when they needed players to stand up, nobody did except Ramsdale. And obviously in a title race, your keeper is extremely important, but he's not going to win you one. And it just feels like City are on this run now. And I've seen Arsenal described as steely because they kind of held on, but they scuppered a 2-0 lead, really, against a team that were playing poorly. They let them back into it. So I kind of felt, coming away from it, Arsenal aren't going to win that title. Now, maybe I could be wrong, but that's the sense I got from it. But you'd think Arsenal as well would have known better, like Xhaka to go at that in front of the Kop with Trent, when the almost exact same thing happened in that fixture last year. Arsenal at Anfield, they were really well set up, frustrated Liverpool for 20 minutes, and then Arteta just goes off on one, gets the crowd involved, and Liverpool win 4-0. You'd think they would have had a bit more kind of Kop on, but they didn't.
A lot's been made of that Xhaka moment. I feel too much.
No, I can't explain how the crowd were just there out of almost a sense of duty, like, oh, let's just get this over with. Like, before kick-off, people were talking about, I wish I could just fast forward to August. That was the sense around the ground. There was no excitement. There was no sense that there was anything riding on this. And then the half an hour, it was completely like that. And it was just sense of, oh, get this over with. Could be 3, could be 4. Just get out of here alive somehow. And then it was just a flip. It was like someone just switched.
I'm interested in that though, because as like yesterday I was thinking, you're just looking for an incident here. You're looking for a turning point. When I was listening to and watching it on TV, I didn't think the Xhaka thing was big enough for it to be that turning point. But hearing somebody who was at the ground say that it was so clear that everything changed in that moment is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Angela, who's an Irish villain, we really do need to start talking about Unai Emery. What a job he's doing. Would love to hear Mick's thoughts. We don't have time this evening, Angela, but we will get to it this week 100%. There's a text in to say we're going to make that a thing now.
It's well a thing at this stage, yeah.
Where have they gone?
Sixth in the league.
Champions League football practically.
Nosebleeds.
It is
run out of toilet paper at home.
Redemption for Unai Emery, I think we can safely say.
Redemption. He didn't need redemption.
Also,
surely he got redeemed when he won the Europa League.
We didn't count that really.
Well, you didn't count it.
Highlights perhaps Stephen Gerrard's position in management. Has anybody checked in on him?
No.
Villa were 3 points off the bottom of the table when Gerrard got sacked.
Wow.
They're sixth in the league now.
What has Emery done in a line?
In a line, it's hard to do that in a line. We'll talk about it again. Let's get into it another day.
Arthur just pointed out I'm ruining the gag by doing this.
Yeah. There is a purpose and a confidence to the players who have, genuinely, you can see really, really clearly what their jobs are. Mm-hmm. I was here telling you that was not the case under Gerrard. There was no discernible plan, either in defence or attack, and that is completely the opposite now. They're one of the best drilled teams in the league. And you can think what's that going to be like after after a summer under his belt in the pre-season?
Yeah.
Very exciting.
No, it's impressive. Rory McIlroy, lads, hate to say it, he's veering into bottler territory now.
I hate the word bottler.
Texting is a very dismissive term, but certainly not handling the Augusta pressure is a nicer way of putting it. And there is veracity in the point.
Yeah, I know. But it's almost like I wish we could have that without such a kind of a cruel and mean,
harsh
a
phrase.
mean term almost,
Aggressive.
isn't it? And it's also surely Rory McIlroy's achievements have borne out a certain amount of bottle and composure over the years. Not many people win 4 majors, not many people go to world number 1 and come back and do it again and so on. He obviously has some mental issue there that needs to be sorted out, and I think he knows that.
Yeah.
The fact that he's not playing this weekend in a tournament that it's going to cost him to not play in, because it's the designated events. You understand that stuff more than I do, and he's already missed one. You're only allowed to miss one.
Yeah.
That's a big statement.
Very
that
big.
he needs to go and reassess a little bit.
Yeah. Not least given he's been effectively the leader of this new season. And
Yeah.
he got various players into a room a couple of weeks ago and explained how it would all work, and this is going to be great. And now he's, I think, the first player to miss 2. As you said, you're only allowed to miss 1. So unless it turns out maybe there was an injury last week and it's carried into this week and he gives some kind of rationale, unless that is the case, then it does point to him being completely devastated. That he can't face even just turning up and going through the motions for these couple of days at Hilton Head.
I'd say it's the latter.
Yeah, that'd be the
Feels
instinct.
like it,
It does
yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it does feel like
Feels
it.
like this year was kind of now or never. This feels bigger than other years.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard a few people say that.
His game was in such good shape.
Yeah, he's also 33, 34 years old. He has got another
I know.
10 years to do this, and he's going to be in different phases of form coming in at different times. It doesn't... if he had competed this week and played well, would it have felt now or never?
No.
Is it just that he so clearly didn't show up?
Yes.
That everything just went wrong the moment seemingly got to him. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen every time,
No, not necessarily. But he mightn't always come in such good form. There have been other years where he's come in average form and hasn't been able to deliver. So this feels like such a waste. Primed to do it. Everything in good working order.
We were on Friday night. Will was doing the game at the Aviva, so I was just doing bits of updates with him. And, I'm living and dying by Rory's back 9 on Friday when he got the... he missed the putt for eagle and then missed the putt for par straight after, and and then kind of thinking, what am I talking about here? Like, I mean, we're worried about whether he's going to miss the cut or not, as opposed to whether Rory's going to win the Masters or not.
Yeah.
It's even at that stage, it was just so, it all obviously collapsed in the couple of holes after that. But even before that, you're thinking, like, this is gone. We're arguing over nothing here,
Yeah. Bob on Twitter, a quick last one before we get into the news round. Is there going to be any mention of Martinelli cheating?
Bob tweeted me this morning,
making out that he was kicked in the head and trying to get Konate sent off, feigning a head injury, probably more serious than what Kane was berated for.
So Bob's
last
a Spurs
weekend.
fan.
I know, yeah.
And he was angry with us for talking about Harry Kane last week. Harry Kane, that was the story. It's the exact same thing with Martinelli.
Yeah, it was blatant.
There's no difference in it, just because it might not be as highlighted, but that's because there probably isn't as many people defending it.
There was a lot of that game management in it from Arsenal, but you'd expect that. Yeah. Just a quick word on Konate. Did that come across on TV how good he was? He was man of the match for me. I know they gave it to Ramsdale, obviously, because of the saves in the last 10 minutes, but I thought he was absolutely unbelievable. He was everywhere and he tidied up everything at the back. I feel like he's taken himself to a new level this season. Maybe it's because Van Dijk hasn't been particularly on song, but I feel like Konate has gone up a level. He was brilliant on Sunday.
Right, interesting. Sometimes players can stand out more in person.
Yeah.
They've more of a presence almost than on TV. I was too confused by Trent Alexander-Arnold to take much else in. I mean, he was probably the best player on the pitch and also shocking.
Yeah, particularly in the first half. He was just so poor. And then his assist for the second goal just kind of sums him up as a player. He's just so confusing. It's just such an enigma.
And in some ways, I mean, it's not confusing. It's very straightforward. He's brilliant with the ball and going forward, and he is catastrophic without the ball. I mean, it's shocking the extent to which he's not learning, and we're talking real basics here. And I even tweeted a screen grab because I watched the match back yesterday because I didn't have a chance to see it on Sunday. And if you picture the scene, it's the build up to the first goal. Xhaka has the ball on the halfway line under not much pressure. I mean, he's just so obviously shaping to pass the ball up the line, and as he's pulling the trigger, I would say without even thinking, Martinelli and Konate turn their bodies towards the Liverpool goal and start running towards where the ball's going to go. And genuinely, inexplicably, Alexander-Arnold is just flat-footed and square and almost even takes half a step forward. Not trying to play on anyone offside, just like a non-reading of the situation. And it turns what was like a routine nothing situation into all hands on deck. We're in big trouble here. Konate sprinting across to try and cover Alexander-Arnold. And I think Keane made the point after the match as well. The really worrying thing is he's not learning. And that is such a basic, nothing routine moment. So I can't make sense of that versus... So I tweeted that at the time. I said, this is bizarre. And then spent the next hour going, yeah, he really is the best player on the pitch, though.
Yeah. His reactions are just so poor.
He set up Firmino, right?
Yeah.
When Firmino came on, I heard it all week as well about like him and Robbie Fowler had the most Liverpool goals, or I think it was one behind Fowler against Arsenal. I kind of knew, just felt like, oh God, he always scores against Arsenal, even without that graphic.
Firmino.
Do you buy into that stuff? I don't know. I know I don't know if when it's your team. Like if I was an Arsenal fan, I definitely would be thinking it. So when it's your team, you guy comes, he always scores against us. There is something to that. I think. There
was a time when Danny Murphy scored every winning goal against Manchester United.
Yes,
remember Origi scored how many against Everton?
Yeah,
and he had that hoodoo over them.
Callum Wilson scored his 12th goal against West Ham during the week.
There you go. Now, why? Like West Ham is such a random team to have.
It just comes alive when he sees that claret and blue.
There could be something in its psychology, though.
No.
When you see someone that always scores against you, particularly coming on. So there could be something in that, they're bringing him on here to cause a bit of danger.
Well, Arsenal were definitely spooked by Anfield and that whole record, and buying into that kind of stuff like way too much. Like I still think the Arteta, you'll never walk alone stuff and all like that. Like whether he didn't go as strong this time or not, that's in his DNA that he obviously has this thing about Anfield.
They all do.
But that has to feed in when even they're 2-0 up. It's like the job isn't done. They haven't won there since 2009 or whatever.
Heard the Anfield thing played up as much as this season. It was the whole talking point for an hour before Manchester United Liverpool. Admittedly, the 7-0, so maybe there was something in it. But I mean, it's like we've been away from Anfield for 10 years.
Yeah.
But that's just because they've been so poor away from Anfield, and then they're getting these freak results at Anfield.
Maybe, yeah. Jason Dublin, Mick talking about meat is on the bottler. comment. Mick talking about meanness, as he called Pep Guardiola an arsehole on national radio last week. Well, it's a fair
I apologise for that the day after, actually.
Point.
Yeah,
but
it's
you're
fair
dead
enough.
right to call him out. The Newsround is brought to you with Gillette Labs. Get the ultimate shave or your money back. Neon Night Edition is available now. There is Champions League.
I think a bottler is a worse thing to call someone than an arsehole.
Well, let's do a Twitter poll on it or something. We don't have time for it now. What would I rather be called? Neither's great.
Yeah.
A bottler, it's like you can't even achieve what you set out to do. An arsehole, like you might have achieved it, not in a nice way, but at least you have that
more
achievement.
of a winner.
Yeah,
Like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a name calling thing, like, you know what I mean? Whereas a bottler is real, says something about your character.
Yes, his manhood is being undermined. It's all very strange. I'm thrown. So it's a bank holiday Tuesday return for us here. So Champions League is suddenly upon us. Thomas Tuchel and Pep once again, Anne-Marie.
Yeah, the quarterfinals of this season's Champions League get underway tonight. And as you say, it'll see Thomas Tuchel make his return to England. The former Chelsea boss brings his new Bayern Munich side to the Etihad. That's to face Manchester City in the first leg of their last 8 tie. Tuchel beat City and Pep Guardiola with Chelsea back in the 2021 final before being sacked the following year. He says there's no room for sentiment, but he is looking forward to this occasion.
It's a pure pleasure, it's a pure joy and a great gift to be part of a match like this, of a quarter-final in Champions League. Listen, Tuesday and Wednesday football is the competition where you want to be. If you are there as a player or you have the possibility to be there as a coach, it's a gift from life, and I appreciate it a lot, and it's an obligation to give my very, very best from motivation and from input and from help and devotion to my players. This is it. There is no more motivation needed. I can tell you I'm happy to be back. I enjoy it every single day, being in England, coaching in England and in Premier League. Happy to be back and be back in this atmosphere. But when the whistle goes, there will not be so much of enjoyment and of sentimental thoughts. We will then compete until the last whistle.
The reassuring tones of Thomas Tuchel. He sounds almost spiritual there. He did spend a lot of the last couple of months in a retreat hanging out with some guru. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh yeah. There's I started it, big long YouTube interview to spirituality and his routines and trying to live life on a higher plane. So I think some of that's coming through there.
In his press conference, he looked particularly positive, like really happy, really chilled out.
Yeah,
now that you say that makes sense.
You know? 10 previous meetings, Tuchel's only beaten Pep Guardiola's side 3 times. But I think Champions League final counts for extra. He just said the other day as well, this morning I woke up really early and I decided I better go into the training ground because I couldn't get back to sleep. I just kept thinking about the match. I couldn't work out if that was I'm stressed and I can't stop thinking about the various tactical permutations, or if it was more of it's such a gift from life. I'm too excited. Yeah.
And can't stop thinking about the tactical permutations.
That too.
I think,
Lots of pieces written about their relationship in the build-up. It seems it's cooled from dinners early on and mentorship to, oh, hang on, you're a bit too good for me to help you. A cooling on Guardiola's side. So we have Ireland in St. Louis this evening.
Yes, and the Republic of Ireland manager Vera Pauw has ruled out making wholesale changes for tonight's friendly against the USA. Defender Aoife Mannion is set to be rested, while Sinead Farrelly will be on the bench for the game, which is in Missouri and kicks off at 12:30 Irish time. Meanwhile, Alan Brown is an injury doubt for the Republic of Ireland's European qualifiers against Gibraltar and Greece, which are in June. The Preston midfielder suffered a medial ligament injury in their win against QPR on Friday. Preston boss Ryan Lowe says Brown is currently in a knee brace as a precaution, and there's currently no timescale on his recovery.
We'll talk to Karen Duggan on the football show about Ireland's 2-0 defeat on Saturday and look ahead to the game this evening. A lot of positives in that defeat, even though it was a 2-0 defeat. Ireland created their fair share of chances, which they hadn't done in recent games, not least against China. Defensively, they were pretty sound. And Vera Pauw was effusive about the debut of Sinead Farrelly as well. She's an extraordinary story. 33 years of age. She played underage for the USA at 17s, 20s and 23 level. She was playing in the American League, and owing to car crash and also her allegations of sexual coercion and harassment against Paul Riley, she took a break from football for 6 years. So Saturday night she played an hour. Before that she had played 20 minutes in 6 years, and she was so good that Vera Pauw said, oh my God, she changes how we can play. once we get her fitness up to speed, she's pretty much guaranteed a place in the plane. And this is already a hyper-competitive situation. So I'm looking forward to chatting to Karen about that, amongst other things. Denise O'Sullivan, by the way, is just immaculate on the ball.
Yeah, you were saying she's the best player on the pitch.
I think she is.
Against
I think
America,
against better teams. I think if she played on the American side, she would have absolutely... what was it the Clough said about John Giles? Pack the game up, put it in her back pocket. I think she is maybe Ireland's least appreciated sports person. She is so good. And you know what I love most about her? Immaculate on the ball, never gives it away. Often her teammates do. She never gives it the old, come on, hands in the air. She is just a sensational player. And for someone who's so good on the ball, like her ability to cover ground off the ball and dispossess opposition, again, she's better at that than anybody else on the pitch, not just on the Irish side, on the pitch. She's kind of like Kante, but better on the ball. I think she's so good and underappreciated, and like I said, her attitude is amazing, because she would have every right at times to be like, come on, can we not keep the ball here a bit more? But she doesn't. So
it was a special night for her as well. 100 caps.
Yeah, she's amazing. Where are we going next? McIlroy, interesting news.
Yeah, so he has withdrawn from this week's RBC Heritage event on the PGA Tour. The 4-time major winner missed the cut at the Masters over the weekend. That was after rounds of 72 and 77 left him 5 over par at Augusta. It's the second time this season that McIlroy has missed a designated PGA Tour event, having also sat out the Tournament of Champions in January.
Mick and Sligo, I know it's not so simplistic, but as a casual viewer, I must say golf seems so bloody random at times. Whatever form McIlroy was in, it just feels like whatever goes on during those 4 days of a major is impossibly hard to call.
Did anyone tip John Ram?
Oh, loads did.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to become so much more random now, because we don't know the form of the live guys as well coming through.
There was that. I mean, I think what it speaks to is just how much precision there is required in golf, and there's about 10 games within the game, and if one aspect of your armoury is off, then it will completely ruin you, and golf has a way of continually asking you the questions you don't want asked.
And mental questions are one of those tools in your armoury as well. Let's face it, it's not just all technical.
Yeah, it all speaks to just how freakish Tiger Woods was.
Yeah, that he was able to that he didn't have
that he won
weeks like that in his prime. Yeah,
82 times, 15 majors, that he topped the stats in every department in a game where the difference between the number one guy and the 100th guy is not very visible to the naked eye a lot of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And sure, look, I mean, we know that how much of a freak Tiger was, but at the same time, there's guys there that do challenge, that are there or thereabouts, that are in the top 20, 25 every week, and Rory should be one of them. And you know, this was almost an extra thing rather than it just not going his way this week, you know. The one thing about Ram, did you find Sunday night to me, I have to say, was a little bit boring for a Masters Sunday. Like, I mean, Ram did everything right, but I just wanted to see him challenge. I've never ever remember a thing where the only one who made any kind of a move, the only ones were Mickelson and Spieth, and they were so early in the day that they were never going to catch. No. We needed somebody 3 shots, 4 shots better to do what they did, and it was just, nobody even looked like it.
Yeah,
there was never a point where it even said, oh, if he could get 2 birdies, if he could get 3 birdies.
Because you never saw Ram getting sick in himself, really. He was always going to just hold it together because he looked so assured. Yeah, we've had...
But certainly when nobody was coming up as
We've had a terrible run of Masters Sundays now. Last year, Scotty Scheffler, the dullest nightmare of all time. Wake me up from that one.
Wake up in dull sweats. I'm so bored.
It was so boring. Matsuyama, really boring final round. Great story, but really boring. Dustin Johnson, that was...
I didn't even watch that. The Winter Masters.
100
under. That was the COVID one.
20 under. So boring. And...
You're going back to Tiger 2019.
It's like penance.
That was the last good one.
It's like, if I'm giving you Tiger, said the golfing gods,
just
you're having a decade of crap. So, really bad Sunday. Just because Koepka didn't show up. Koepka's a weird one in that he emerged as this guy who just was faultless on Sundays. Like, scary good. Converted everything he got, 4 from 4. But when he won his 4th major, he got totally spooked. He went from 13 under to 8 under, fell over the line. And it seems, kin to Rory, to have left some kind of scar tissue. He's never been the same on a Sunday since.
And that's why he only plays on 54 holes most weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently the crowd were shouting that to him.
That is kind of funny.
I wasn't displeased to see Cup because
collapse,
fall apart, and like not for any real kind of human reasons, but just from a sporting point of view, I kind of found it amusing. He's got his 4 majors. He's not someone who like madly needs it or anything.
Gary Murphy on Golf Weekly, which is recorded and out as of this morning, he reckons John Rahm will win the career Grand Slam, which is evading McIlroy at the moment, and will get to 9 majors.
It's a big statement. Like,
Nine's a lot.
It's like
That's how good he
plenty
is.
have 2.
That's how good
Not
he
that
is.
many have 3. It's still a long way for him
That's
to go
my
to
point.
win 4. Yeah.
And Gary Murphy's not, he's not
So he still has to
prone
win
to
a
hyperbole.
PGA and a Open.
British Open, yeah.
It's not like he's still a long way off. Could win them both this year.
He's that good. He's that good. Carlo Ancelotti.
Carlo Ancelotti, Real Madrid boss Carlo Ancelotti has ruled out a return to manage Chelsea. The Italian is preparing to face his former side in the Champions League quarter-finals tomorrow, while Chelsea defender Ben Chilwell, meanwhile, has ended speculation about his future by signing a 2-year contract extension, and that'll keep the England left-back at the club until 2027. Other contract news today: Josh van der Fleer is staying with Leinster until the end of the 2026 season. That's after signing an extension with the IRFU. The current World Player of the Year won his 50th international cap last month and played every minute of Ireland's Six Nations campaign. Van der Fleer has also collected 4 league titles and a Heineken Champions Cup with Leinster. He says it's a privilege to commit his future to the province. His clubmate James Ryan then signed a new deal with the IRFU today, and that'll see him through to the end of the 2025 campaign.
It's crazy Van der Fleer wasn't on a central contract until today, but there you go. Those things sometimes are just about timing, but all rectified now anyway.
Feels like a long time since that game against Leicester, but Wigglesworth of Leicester joined the Leinster have too much money, it's not fair. We'll talk about it tomorrow on Wednesday Night Rugby. Owen Murphy, forget McIlroy, Phil the
By the way, what club did Richard Wigglesworth play for during his career for the most part?
Go on.
Saracens.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Phil the Thrill was the highlight of this year's Masters, his own. Just a pity he didn't win and turn up in Butler Cabin with Terminator sunglasses. I know.
How would you have felt if Phil won it?
Don't know.
Conflicted, yeah. It'd be happy but also weird and sad.
Like, I do think self-inflicted, sure, but I do think he's been through like what must have been a horrific time.
Bad time,
You don't like to see anyone suffer that much, and I thought in the way he pumped his fist to himself on 18, it spoke of a man who'd been through a lot and was like, I'm not dead yet. I don't want to see him suffer. I don't want to see him depressed. And I'd say for parts of like, you have to remember this time last year, Augusta said to Phil, the most beloved figure in the game up until last year, we don't want you at our tournament. Like, such a pariah. So I think for him, that fist pump was just this sense of
personal redemption for himself.
I'm not over. Yeah.
I have to say, from a pure sporting point of view, it was brilliant to see a kind of a old man Phil Mickelson, wind the clock back.
And he's so
good.
good.
That was brilliant to watch. He was amazing on Sunday. Like, what a round.
He's so good. He's frightening. And like, by all accounts at the Champions Dinner, he'd effectively sulked.
Yeah.
Like, he was a diminished, not just physically, he seems to have lost so much weight, but like a diminished figure. And it seems like
he looks like Gary Player. I said that to you on Sunday night. He's got the all black. He's wearing a jumper tucked into his trousers for some reason.
Well, he's got to show off how skinny he is now.
Okay, I thought,
flex.
who wears a jumper tucked into their trousers?
Someone who feels like they've lost a lot of weight.
And a big high belt. And he looks like Gary Player. He actually is walking around like Gary Player.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Gary Player was moaning he doesn't get enough tea times at Augusta. Did you see that?
No.
He really doesn't. I mean, read the room. They're not going to think, oh, let's give Gary more tea times. He was like, I can't even bring people out to play at Augusta whenever I want. It's a disgrace. One last story.
Trainer Nicky Henderson has confirmed that Constitution Hill will run in Thursday's William Hill Aintree Hurdle. The 6-year-old made it 6 wins from 6 at Cheltenham last month, winning the champion hurdle. Henderson's star mare Epatante, meanwhile, will defend her crown in the race in opposing her stablemate. William Mullins' Sharjah, Gordon Elliott's Zanahir, the Nigel Twiston Davies trained I Like to Move It, and Alan King's Soccer Royale complete the field.
Okay. Loads of texts coming in. We'll get to them across the show. For instance, Denise O'Sullivan is the best Irish midfielder aside from Roy Keane across male-female codes in the last 30 years. I don't really know how to compare the male-female thing. A lot of good Irish midfielders in the last 30 years. But she's right up there. She really is. On the Kante thing, I feel like when I said, but she's better on the ball, does a disservice to how good Kante is on the ball too.
Yeah.
But they're very similar. And then somebody says, before you start the Cork bashing, that came in early. I'd no plan to bash Cork, but we can if you want.
Well, I'm sick of that. I'm sort of sick of Cork being the story in that game, to be honest. But anyway.
Okay. before you start the Cork bashing, it wasn't a shock, neither a disaster. Cork were afraid of Clare and they played.
Feels like he's Cork bashing.
Management should have been less conservative. They must learn fast, as John Cork. We're going to talk to Colin Boyle in just a few moments. Mick, we'll see you back for a slight tangent. Thank you very much.
Be here.
Anne-Marie, thank you.
Thank you.